Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this. I much appreciate it. Welcome back to Philosopher 2, Socrates Jones, Part 8. Last one we debated Rawls and Nozick about liberalism and socialism in the original thought versus communities and self-interest. So let's get into it. Chapter 7, Rise of the Republic. God, we getting Star Wars in here? I'm home. Sweet Washington's fictional cherry tree, I'm home! Huh, the living world's a lot shinier than I remember. Does it hum this loudly everywhere these days? Nah, pretty much yes. I can't believe it, you actually did it! Arbiter, it's an honor to finally meet you, sir. All the data lines up, the portal's stable, people can travel between realms without danger. We've really done it. Pythia. Did it work? It worked! Aw, cute. Cute family. So good to see you in person. I'm glad to see you too, Adney. Well, I'm glad to see your stupid face, Socrates. The feeling is mutual. Wow, you two really know how to get warm your daughter's heart. So, boss, what happens now? I'm still figuring that out. Revealing the intelligible realm will be a shock to the public. A bit, yes. It could bolster my cause, maybe even sway the election. But if I don't win, if it's any consolation, Pithra, it no longer matters if you win. What happens next has already been determined. What the hell? What's going on? Who is that? Allow me to introduce my brother, Lieutenant... You traitor! Arbiter! Sunder this man's soul to the pits of hell. Well, I'm introduce my brother, Lieutenant General Regis Plato, Commander of 3rd Corps. Wait, you're the one who helped you fund this pet project? Yes. At some point, you must have questioned why a military officer would push for research into dead philosophers. We're taking charge of Capra and the intelligible realm. Big changes just became possible. We have a moral obligation to see them through. What are you going on about? What changes? Plato's Republic. Plato's Republic? So typical, seizing all the power for yourselves. What happened to the sweater vest solidarity? Not our republic, the original Plato. You can't be serious. Of course I'm serious. You've seen Pythia's struggles, Arbiter? The length she'd go to win? She only confirmed that what I already suspected. The current system is irreparably broken. I'm sure the philosophers will come around to our viewpoint as well. Is this actually happening? But I thought... Marcus, why? I'm sorry, everyone. Regis? Soldiers, escort the civilians somewhere safe until this is over. Yes, sir. Arbiter, cast a spell. Wizard mode. What the man? Marcus, you piece of shit. Oh, get him. Marcus, wait. I haven't known you for long, but I've known you're no fan of Machiavelli. What's going on here? If you really believe in whatever plan you have, you should be able to explain it to us. Defend it to us. Not just enact it without another word through force and fear. Whatever your plans for Capra, wouldn't they be easier with us on your side? It's a long shot, but... I'm not stupid, Ariadne. You just want to try and talk me out of this. Do you think you can be talked out of this? Because if you can, you probably should. That's true. If you think you can be talked out of something, you probably shouldn't do it, right? Wasted time, Em. They won't understand. We need element of surprise if we're no, I'll bite. Where would we be, Regis, if we didn't embody our ideals? But if you find my position is sound, and when you do, expect you all to help. Because you're right, Ariadne. I would prefer that. Well, I hope you prefer this 38 snub-nosed revolver in my pocket. Bang, bang. Tell the troops to stand down. We're going to resolve this like true philosophers. I'm going to eat you alive, man. Many of the philosophers you've spoken believe that participating in the public is of paramount importance. But the public is fickle. Groups vote based on flights of fancy, likability, their own biases. The rulers of democracy thus come to their position solely based on the whims of public opinion. The process is easily subverted by those with manipulative, selfish aims, after which the damage is done. Leaders can even get elected with no real qualifications and none of the skills that make a good ruler. Thank God that's never happened, am I right? Hey! For this reason, democracy's failing, has failed, and will fail again. Do you see now the reason we must act? We put it on a pedestal, but the tragic truth is that democracy is a poisoned process. We finally have a chance to replace it with something better. Marcus, you've been working with me for years, working for the Senate. How long have you nursed these views? I'm sorry, boss. I believe in your ideals. Philosophy is incredibly valuable. But you've said it yourself. Every day in the system is corrosive. The only real compromise are to your principles. You've done so much for this country, and yet you still have to grovel to maintain your seat. In Ariadne, when you first came here, it was the thinly veiled despair. The country robbed you of your youth, enthusiasm and your belief in your ability to affect the future. If public participation was working, would you ever have reached that point? And there are so many others in much worse situations than you. People like my brother forced down certain paths because no one's listening. And we can't simply leave them to the whims of fate. Things are pretty messed up. I said so at the start, but look at my mom. People can break their patterns. They can change. They can grow. Can they, though? Truly? Very well, then. Ask your questions. Prove change is possible. Change my mind or be changed yourself. Oh, yeah? Well, about this gun. Oh, my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. What's in our ideal slate? Okay, nothing. Many philosophers you've spoken with believe participants... Okay, well, let me just get through these. Must acknowledge how widespread the core idea is. Power to the people has a nice ring to it, nostalgic almost. But unfortunately, real life has proven it's never that simple. Back. Locke, Marx, Fanon, Rawls, Nozick. All in one way or another promoted empowering the common person. All were wrong, of course, but the dream is persistent. The public is fickle. Groups-based clarification. There are many questions that inform people how to vote. Most people won't hold up if you and most won't hold up if you question connections. Look at how people assess the viability of candidates. Which candidate would you like to get a beer with is considered a key question by many pollsters. I've heard people interpret it as which candidate do you think would like to get a beer with you. People want their leaders to validate them, I suppose. No matter how you frame it, neither is relevant to who will make good decisions under pressure. Rulers of democracy thus come to their position solely based on the whims of public opinion. Think about this. Whether you think power depends less on who you are, entirely who people think you are. On this, at least Machiavelli was correct. Everyone has an opinion, but no one truly knows you. I mean, I'm just going through this. Pythia, seen the Senate for 6 years now, closing out your first term. Your programs have been generally well received, excluding ours, of course. So tell me, what do the pundits say about you? That I'm out of touch, an elitist who thinks her liberal arts degree means she's better than everyone. Oh no, that sounds bad. I've also heard you hate pie. Nothing like good old Franklin Tucker, down-to-earth deli mogul. Founder of 16 different sandwich chains. I'm sure he appreciates a good pie. He does. My opposition research is very thorough. Fundamentally, you're not fighting a battle of worth, you're fighting a battle of opinion. True. Process is easily subverted by those who manipulate and selfish aims, after which the damage is done. One terrible ruler can do far more damage than several good rulers cannot do. It's easier to destroy than build, after all. Do you not have any supporting evidence, Marcus? No. I have far too much evidence. It's frankly painful. Got something, a bit of military history. Have you heard of Benito Mussolini won a three-party election in Italy in 1924? Used numerous dirty tricks, but they worked. He won with 2/3 of the vote. Shortly after, he banned the other political parties. That was the last free election in Italy until his death. Italy would go on to be a key Nazi collaborator in World War II. If it could happen to them, it could happen to us. Well, damn. Leaders can get elected, no real qualifications. Qualifications don't matter, some with no qualifications matter most. Wasn't clarification so much as a poetic restatement. I'm sorry. Guess psyching myself up for dramatic action makes me prone to drama. Actually clarify, but that doesn't change the fact I need to know more. I'll admit things can get pretty messed up in democracy. Not everyone votes rationally. There isn't an easy solution to that. I certainly don't have one at the moment, but I also have no idea what you're proposing instead, what qualifications even quantify. For all I know, you could agree with Machiavelli, after all, and think our leaders aren't ruthless enough. Never. Machiavelli's philosophy is monstrous. Your discussion with him made that quite clear. This is from the guy who brought an army to the debate. Any real change requires leverage. Maybe unpleasant, but it's a well-established fact. Yes, I get that you think that, but what system do you want to change to? We can demand our leaders possess a certain set of qualifications, a set that should be obvious to all of you. This is going to Confucius. Arbiter? Don't look at me, man. This is an ancient ideal, Marcus. A dream from another time. Do you really think it belongs here in the present? I do. I'm totally lost. Why would the arbiter know what you're going to argue? His statement is an echo mine. His statements echo mine from millennia ago. There's only one group qualified to lead us all, one group dedicated to reason and truth. Philosophers. What we need more than anything are rulers carefully selected for the ability to think critically. Such skills are essential for choosing justly when facing the important decisions governing entails. Philosophers meet this standard, those who spend their days trying to decipher truth, deduce right or wrong. But since the voices of philosophers are easily drowned out, they must be placed above those of the masses. Philosophers must become kings. Only then will we have the stable society governed by reason and wisdom. With the portal finally open, we've gained access to all the great thinkers from everywhere in every win. This is our best chance to establish the sort of leadership Plato dreamed of, a leadership of reason that would benefit all. But you deprive millions of the right to determine laws that affect them. Millions of people are already deprived of those rights. Their representatives serve only themselves, willfully misleading the people in order to keep power. I've seen it. Have had to meet and follow orders from these people. At least our approach gives power to the deserving. Misinformation added to the idea slate. When power is restricted to those capable of reasoning, though, all complications, everything will change. We'll no longer compromise on what's right or what's uncomfortable. Artificial hierarchies will be dismantled and misinformation debunked. After so many years of bluster and inaction, this is our best hope to solve the problems we face. Education matters. It's unbelievable. You keep trying to frame this as logical and just, but we're not going to simply let you enact your little revolution and... Wait! Oh, hi, Marks. Oh, hi, Mark. Did I hear correctly? Is revolution finally occurring? How I've longed for the day when American workers would throw off their golden chains and dispose of the oligarchy and the rich. And not all workers, just these guys and their rogue troops. We're not implementing anything close to communism. Oh. That is immensely disappointing. You should stop them. I'm trying! I'm working on it, man. Oligarchy of the rich added to the idea slate. Never fear, Locke is here. Wonderful, Captain Democracy himself. Arbiter, are you aware you left the gate open? Were you just able to stroll on through to the land of the living? Yes, I'm quite aware, Locke. We were trying something new, an open-door policy. So far, well, it launched a coup, which was not the intended result, but it is interesting. Locke, out of curiosity, how would you feel about disposing of democracy and putting yourself in charge? That sounds like a terrible idea. Don't you remember how badly I was defeated during my last election? I only received 1 vote. There's no way I'd be able to maintain power without the people's consent. Consent to the governed. That's what I thought. That proves nothing, and only natural some philosophers disagree with this plan. Well, the point is not that the great thinkers will agree on every decision. It's obvious they won't, but their ideas are distant from one another, stars in the sky. We can be sure any decisions that emerge from the decisions will be better informed than those of the masses. Go ahead, ask whatever question you like. I'll prove this is the best choice. Okay, buddy. Clarify. We need our rulers to be reasonable people, able to sort through information, consider multiple positions, and act with wisdom. Only those capable of doing so should be allowed to lead. Selected, allowed. Who exactly is selected and allowing, Marcus? Is it you? Those who have already proven themselves to possess such wisdom are the best to judge. But I know that may seem like a circular proposition, and normally it would be. But luckily, we already have a strong starting point in the intelligible realm. Oh, I need backing for that. These days, misinformation is rampant. The noise-to-single ratio is too damn high. With facts and falsehoods flying everywhere, deciphering it is all a job unto itself. The ability to reason well is the only anchor we have in this current events. We cannot be led by those who are easily swept away. If you require more thoughts, my next point directly supports this one. Such skills are essential for choosing justly when facing the important decisions governing entails. What do you mean by this? Without basic critical thinking skills, the leader has no chance to rule or justify completely. Their only hope is to stay in power and constantly distract from their own ineptitude. Consider a scenario where we have 2 potential leaders, one ruled by passion, the other by reason. Third politician insults these leaders on national TV. The next day, that politician's district is struck by a natural disaster. The right thing to do would be set aside any grudges and direct emergency services to help the citizens affected. But the leader ruled by passion might deliberately hold up resources, blame the third party, and make their situation worse just to settle a score. For that reason, self-interest rules. You made this point yourself, Ari, time and time again. Philosophers meet this standard to those who spend their days trying to decipher truth and deduce right and wrong. You know this. Philosophers already embody the traits we need in our leaders. They've dedicated their lives and afterlives to shifting falsehoods from truth, separating mere opinion from understanding and folly from wisdom. I will back that. Pythia, I'll direct this question to you. What inspired you to found Capra? I believe philosophers have indispensable wisdom to share. Well, I believe philosophers have indispensable wisdom to share. Marcus, it's twisted that you've somehow made it painful to say that. Just illuminating the obvious. At some level, you already agreed with me on the value of philosophers, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But like, what about McVelly or Euthyphro from last time? Not every philosopher we've encountered has been reasonable. It's possible that not every philosopher in the intelligible realm meets these qualifications. But all else being equal, those who have acquired some wisdom make better leaders than those who have acquired none. But since the voice of philosophers is drowned out, they must be placed above those masses. By the masses, philosophers become kings. What do you mean by this? You mean that people are fundamentally a hindrance to good government. The will of the philosophers must come first to save the people from themselves. Okay, well, simply put, most do not care or hear from the wise. They do not see the relevance that their reasoning can have in their lives. Why should I listen to some old nerd I've never met when I could instead listen to Kelly's hottest gossip? As much as I hate to admit it, that pretty much describes Dad a few years ago before, he died and met all the philosophers himself. It's true. Could not get enough of Kelly's hot gossip. Well, when we put those old nerds in charge, everyone will have to listen. They'll finally be able to use their wisdom to do better in the world. Okay, well, I can just challenge this immediately. Let me read the last one, though. Only then will we have a stable society governed by reason and wisdom. Keeps using sailing metaphors. I think I can challenge this with consent. Fuck! Philosophers must become kings. Must be placed above the masses. Philosophers must become kings. According to law, government's powers depend on the consent of the people. Okay, Marcus believes that philosophers' wisdom makes them uniquely qualified to rule. Now I know where he's arguing for and just not against. Not just against, I can get to the root of any issues. I either have to find a problem with this idea or implications that stem from it. Otherwise, we're just going to take control. There's no telling what'll happen then. You can do this, Ari! Thanks for the vote of confidence. Okay, these rulers carefully selected for the ability to think critically. Such skills are essential for choosing justly when facing important decisions governing entails. Also meet these standards. Okay, let me do governmental limitations. Hold on, Marcus. You want to put these philosophers in charge, right? Correct. Because if we don't, the voice of reason will never be heard. Fortunately true, it's easier to mislead the public than inform them. Many take advantage of this fact. Philosopher kings could focus on solving our problems without worrying about public opinion. Right. There's just one teeny tiny major problem with your solution. What happens when public opinion says philosophers are the problem? Marcus, multiple philosophers have discussed the threat of rebellion for both good and ill. Unhappy citizens will turn against their leadership and establish different ones. Like you are now. In your world where only a small elite can make decisions, how long do you think that will take? But if philosophers rule with a just hand and good intentions, I get the appeal, General. God help me, I do. But there's no such thing as perfect leadership. As Adine said before, sometimes events are outside our control. In the face of such unpredictability, even your philosopher kings would make mistakes. And when people see these oh-so-wise rulers struggle, they'll flip the nearest table. All those philosophers, dead or alive, would get an express ticket to the intelligible realm. Is that how it works? Can we die again if we stay here? I should have considered the full implications of this portal being completed. Unanswered metaphysical questions aside, systems like democracy have peaceful outlets and express discontent. By its very nature, your approach cuts off people's ability to influence the world. You've created the perfect formula for rebellion. Whatever you order to establish will only be toppled once more. Nice work, Ari. Honestly, I'm really impressed with everything you've been doing. So we've come full circle. In the end, democracy is in fact the perfect... Oh. Well, that was nice while it lasted. You made some solid points here, Ariadne, but they don't go as far as you think. Yes, people will rise up if they don't feel respected, as they should, but that's far from a guaranteed outcome in the Republic. But you're taking the power away from the people. I'm taking away direct power. That's very different from taking away all power. I would not have pursued this plan if I believed it would cut people out of the system. Everyone benefits if the public still has an outlet to contribute. Though philosophers call the shots in the Republic, the average citizen is not cut out of the process. Individuals are free to present their troubles and opinions to the philosophers through regular forums. Citizens are rewarded for their own ability to make their points, and most of the persuasive ideas are elevated. Thus, we get the best of both worlds, the will of the people, filtered by the wisdom of philosophers. So, you see, the people are not cut out at all. Individuals are always free to appeal to their leaders, who then use their own wisdom to turn those appeals into policy. By engaging with the people, the philosophers stay connected to the state of the world and what the people are dealing with. Voiding apathy. What does that mean? Marcus believes it is essential for leaders to remain connected to the people, otherwise they will lose perspective. This really isn't much different from representative democracy, in which important choices are made by elected officials. Only the public doesn't have a chance to choose incompetent or bigoted officials. Now we have access to an afterlife that identifies great thinkers for us. That was the whole point of this operation. So everyone has to die before they can rule. We're establishing a lichdom now. I imagine various living individuals, through making their cases, could prove themselves experts in reasoning in various subjects matter. Academia as a whole has a whole structure for peer reviews. Our leaders should be held at least at the standard of our scholars. As someone who's been through that process, the standard is rife with selection bias, nepotism, and all hallmarks of colonial thought. Alienation. At the idea slate. Fanon, when did you? Of course I'm aware, Fanon. I experienced it all as well. The Republic would elevate all great thinkers from Ibn Khaldun to Ogundepe Leslie, and we can even restore those erased from history books. Please, Dr. Fanon, with your support, I know we could build something better. Everyone wants my endorsement lately. Did you all miss the part where I said that putting leaders on pedestals should be avoided at all costs? That includes me. And to derive your entire worldview from Plato's Republic, I don't care if you share his name, it's ridiculous. Just because justice must be found within the struggles of the people, not in the dead dreams of European men. The fact you hold the people in such high regard is the whole reason we believe in you, Fanon. Same with Locke, even with Marx. That drive is always to be one who questions is what we need in leadership, now more than ever. It's also why I'm letting myself be questioned instead of barreling ahead. Well then, let's hope the questioneer is up to the task. My life has quickly turned into a political thriller. Ari, I think that's your cue. Right, so okay, sorry, questions. Okay, how many points we got here? 4. No philosopher called the shorts in their blah 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 blah. People will have more to do with the twiddle of their thumbs as they wait for judgment of the philosophers. Oh yeah? Are they allowed to twiddle their toes too? People still have plenty of freedom in the Republic. They can twiddle whatever the hell they want. More importantly, they will have options to affect the decisions that are made. Backing. What reasoning do you have to support the statement? Power's not all or nothing. Though thinkers will make the final decisions, those decisions must be rooted in the experiences of the people. You don't have to be in charge in order to have a meaningful influence. Sure helps though. Individuals are free to present their troubles and opinions to philosophers through regular forums. Medieval thing, go up to your philosopher king and beg, oh my brainy liege, hear mine plea. It'll be nothing like that. Well, actually it will be something like that, but with more dignity and multiple lieges. Regardless, space must be created for people to present their views and problems to a panel of philosophers, and who will in turn ask questions in order to assert validity. A better comparison would be legal case, a Senate hearing, or the peer reviews I discussed earlier. Okay, we'll back that up, please. This is a core structural idea for the Republic. It'll be less something to back up, as it is a mandate that must be established. By giving all the people access to philosophers, the entire system will be more just.
Nonsense!
I didn't even... nonsense for me away, philosophers! Get them! It's easy to say all people, but access to these sessions will be limited. Even in the intelligible realm, my schedule is almost entirely booked. And some spoiled individuals will seek more intentions than others. McVelly just tried to book an entire week after the thrashing this one gave him. And did you let Darth Linguini book the whole week? No, of course not. Well then, I imagine you'd apply that same judgment to the audiences you granted one in leadership, wouldn't you? Everyone will have a chance to make their case. Citizens are rewarded for their ability by this. Philosophers are well equipped to filter through the noise of illogic that dominates the current discourse. People who come in and try to create a scapegoat for their problems will find they have little sway. But citizens who approach these audiences with supported arguments will get a lot more mileage out of them. Citizens are rewarded for their own ability to make their points, and the most... Oh, wait, I already read that. You have more experience with dealing with philosophers and their rules of engagement than anyone else. You've seen how they push back against flimsy points, but adjust to take stronger ones into account. I mean, for the most part, sometimes they just freak out and yell a bunch. Alright, I'll give you that, but overall... yeah, fine, I mean, said so myself, it's nice so many of them actually listen. Well, there you have it. In the end, if you have something compelling to offer, philosophers can change their minds, but you just have to offer something compelling. Subject matter experts, scientists, historians, even accountants will naturally have more sway on the topics in which they are knowledgeable. Uh-huh. And what do you think you can butter us up by pretending to appreciate accountants? After all these years... Dad, no, stop. Okay, best of both worlds, the will of people, filtered by wisdom philosophers. Philosophers will use their wisdom to meet people's needs, and the people have every opportunity to communicate those needs. Ask questions them. It's not her fault. She feels compelled to question everything. My working theory is that it's genetic. That would explain a lot about this family. Well, most of the time, I think it's best that she does. Most of the time. Yeah. Okay, I'm still here. Okay, let's check our idea box. Misinformation. You commission channels to play into people's biases and desires instead of challenging them. Value education. Oligarchy of the rich. Avoiding apathy. Leaves natives. Hold on. Most persuasive. Alienation. Marcus. These forums are meant to give people a way to reach the philosophers, correct? With the hope that citizens who make their arguments more compelling will gain more influence. That seems only logical. If you present strong evidence or structure your argument well, you should be more persuasive. That is how we try to do things in the intelligible realm. I confess I am partial to the approach. Oh, I am too. It works great when everyone is on equal footing. But can you really claim everyone's feet are equal? Da-dun! 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 I'm confused. What's wrong with her feet? Metaphorical feet, Socrates. Evidence, merit. It's nice to think these things are signs of the worthy, and they're certainly important. But those who are privileged in our society, the wealthy or members of the dominant culture, are inherently better postponed to succeed. It's easier to build a solid case when you have access to all the finest materials. But we'll counter that, make sure everyone has equal time to be heard. Even then, pre-existing advantages and disadvantages will remain a factor. Fan talked at length about how those are regularly denied opportunities are as a result poorly positioned to seize whatever opportunities do emerge. Cycle of alienation. And recall Marx's oligarchy of the rich, how those with wealth can distort the system. Hell, they could even try and straight up bribe philosophers, anything to make their case compelling, right? But philosophers are dedicated to justice, they should listen to those who are unheard. And if they are already at the top, why would they care about a few extra bucks? Lots of reasons. Maybe I want a new hat. Couldn't have entered at a better time, Nozick. I guess everyone is here now, except McVelly? We invited him. I believe he is afraid of you. As he should be. But back on track. The simple truth is, Marcus, philosophers are not immune to bias. They're not immune to self-interest. Your system puts no checks on them at all. Do you really want to take their goodness on faith? You've got him, Ari. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, John Locke. I feel like I should be insulted, but instead I agree. You have to thank your family. Dad, Mom, John Locke, it's all there. You're still out of order, civilian. Marcus, tell her everything she's gotten wrong. Tell her philosophers will...
Nonsense.
No, Regis. Once again, she makes a good point. What? I admit if we take too much on faith, we could be susceptible to false or fallen thinkers. This is a serious issue for the Republic. Plato said so himself. But a serious issue does not mean an unsolvable issue. I can't deny that it could be possible for philosophers to lose sight of justice. If they were to acquire private land, spouses, and money, their interests would indeed turn to maintaining them rather than knowledge. So we'll put limitations on them to prevent them from being distracted. If we place power in their hands under these conditions, we can be sure they will never become corrupted. There we go. Philosophers need checks, so we'll keep them in check. Then what? Why? This is just checks and balances. This is democracy. Democracy manifest. The right precautions can even keep the weak philosophers focused. Rawls and Nozick, I'm definitely not a fan of this proposal. First we placed on a pedestal which was already suspect, and now that pedestal feels more like a prison. If we assess the situation from behind the veil, it does in fact seem necessary to put checks on any ruling group, does it not? A truly superior man shouldn't need restrictions, but I suppose accepting them would allow us to model such acceptance for others. Superior man idea added to the slate. Am I missing something? I thought we had. Now it seems like the philosopher is seriously considering the Republic. He and Regis have been playing this moment for years, and he was never going to be simple. During my own scary final debate, we were the only ones at stake. But I knew I had to keep going. Trust my gut when it said, this isn't right. I feel the same thing here. Socrates is right, Adney. Sometimes you just have to keep fighting. Recognizing those moments is as important as recognizing when to back down. And although the tunnel is long, I feel we're getting closer to the end. Well, Ariadne, I'm waiting. Right, okay, let's do this. Alright. Can't deny the possible philosopher's cited justice. Literally, okay, look. Me and you no longer believe this? Okay. Okay, they were able to acquire private lands, spouses, and money. I feel like I'm not really going to be... We'll put limitations... Okay, clarify this. If you prevent distraction, they will not get distracted. But can you provide an example of how we do that? Even one example. Do better than that. I'll provide 3 entirely different plans. If anyone works here, we have something viable, so you'll have to dismantle all 3. Clarifying plans added to argument. It could become anonymous oracles to the public, communicating only through the internet. Okay, what do you mean by this? Using the internet, specific identities of philosophers can be obscured. We could also block certain types of interactions. This will keep the focus on their interactions on helping the people asking for help, providing anonymous guidance. So they become like tech support, but for various political and existential crises. Have you tried turning your moral dilemma off and on again? Okay. Could have them make all decisions from behind the veil of ignorance. Rawls, can you define the veil of ignorance again? Again, it appears Ariadne needs... I'm aware of what the veil of ignorance is. Say it would help protect philosophers from their biases. Okay. Back that up. Rawls' original position separates person from their identity. Day-to-day, philosophers could participate in the world freely, even take on personal goals to improve their lives, but all would be stripped from them when deciding for the public. Such setup, acting on conflicting motives, would become impossible. Does sound like a sweet setup, I must admit. Ahem, I hate to remind you, Mr. Plato, but the veil is only ever a thought experiment. It sets a target. There's no possibility of implementation in real life. So you say, but I've been pondering Pythia's request that we build an amnesia machine. Oh, we've made some cool tech, but our brains are way more complicated than interdimensional portals. I don't know how we could test an amnesia machine without risking a zombie apocalypse. I confess my early explorations were not very promising. I suppose without any practical implementation plan, I have to accept this is not a workable solution. Could have them live like monks, isolate physical communes, and sworn to celibacy. Hold on. Okay, hold on. For the internet, let's do misinformation.
Nonsense!
It's embedding the philosophers in the internet actually a good idea. No matter its general usefulness, the internet is home to a lot of really distracting things, like top 10 ways to combat gray hair. And it's also the source of a lot of the misinformation you were complaining about earlier. Like top 10 ways to combat gray hair, seriously, none of them worked. In the end, we gotta say it seems like the internet increases the chance of philosophers being led astray. Well, as we've discussed, philosophers are far better equipped to distinguish fact from fiction than the average dad. Okay, but even if we accept that, it's not just philosophers being the target of misinformation we have to worry about. You frame their anonymity as a purely good thing, protection against the ability of others to bribe and subvert them. But if we don't know who they are, we won't be able to hold them accountable. Either, Machiavelli's much harder to challenge if he hides behind cute memes. No matter how highly you think of philosophers, this setup is ripe for abuse. Very well, except it's not the best proposal. Got him. Live like monks. Clarify. Becoming a philosopher king would require to take vows to live a simple life. Your basic needs would be met, most distractions would be eliminated as you're surrounded by other great thinkers. Wait, so basically the intelligible realm. Indeed. How convenient for us that such a place already exists. Place power in their hands under these conditions. I'm sure they will never become corrupted. I can challenge this somehow. Avoiding apathy. Remain connected to the people. Marx, earlier you said yourself that it was essential that the philosophers remain connected to the people. But your solution here is placing them in communes directly contradicts that. Experience informs ideas. A diversity of experience forges stronger ideas. I mean, just tonight, the Arbiter lectured me about the importance of partying. That was not me. Yeah, that was Jennifer. Wait, what? I never lectured anybody. Ari's introversion is kind of cute. Pog? We're so in? Okay, the point is, how's a group cut off from the world supposed to understand its many, many facets? We wind up with the all philosophers merging into one big, uninteresting blob. Stay removed from our yet. Yeah. Well, look at that. You have no plans left. All the things you planned to counter the possibility of philosophers losing sight of justice, none of them held up to scrutiny. There are always more options, I just need to think. The world could be so much better. Something has to work. No, please, Marcus. Fundamentally, the Republic places too much power in a few hands. There's no way to guarantee your philosopher kings won't become philosopher tyrants. Marcus, Regis, come on, throw in the towel. You've made some strong points. You've driven home everything that's wrong with democracy. We have hard problems to solve. But after all this, do you still believe the Republic is a better option? Sometimes you just have to keep fighting. What?
Nonsense.
You can't be serious. You're still at it? You may have found a fallacy, but you have to fight me with this one as well. Just because perfection might be unattainable does not mean we should not try. Who said that, I wonder? Duh. Yes, it's true a philosopher could lose sight of justice. And yes, I failed to find any perfect countermeasures. But at least my tyrants would be wise, unlike the tyrants of democracy. The Republic is still the best option we have. Oh, boy. Just let it go, man, before I call you stinky. Oh, wait. If I get covert fascist, this is what this is. It's just covert fascism. Even with its flaws, Plato's Republic is a far better system than the alternatives. Powerful people invariably have an outsized effect on the shape of society and the prospects of everyone in it. Given this influence, political power should only be given to those trained to use it for the good of all. We can no longer afford to be governed by unqualified leaders. We have to act. Regis, it's time to call back the troops. What? Can't be serious. Mark's promised let's discuss. I have let you discuss. Focus has shifted as we explored various aspects of our plan. Though we found a few flaws, the center still holds. Nothing you've observed about the Republic makes it worse than democracy. So unless you can fundamentally shift that balance, the original conclusion stands. We have to act. This can't be happening. It's happening. Let's go, Ridge. Yes, of course. I'll just... Reg? I'm sorry. I think I might agree with him. You're kidding. I hate it. I do. But as I've been sitting here listening, just like you said we should, I believe in this cause of ours. The wiser leadership could help everyone, create new opportunities for all. My troops put their trust in me, that whatever I order will be worth the risk. This is worth the risk. A better world is worth the risk. But is that what this is? Will this really help all those who've needed it for so long? Sure doesn't sound like it. Not anymore. I should have known it'd never be this simple. Smart as they are, philosophers won't be our saviors, just as flawed as everybody else. But, Regis, the world could be so much better than this. It still can be, but not like this. Wait, is that it then? Is it over? I'm gonna sneeze. Doing this for you, Reg. I'm doing this for all of you. If y'all won't stand by me, fine. I'll find another way. Marcus, without Regis, there is no... I'll convince him, then. If I can't... Marcus, there's nothing left to do. Something has to be done. We can't just settle for the way things are. Love our people. I love this world. But I've seen so many hurt over and over. How can y'all be okay with that? We're not okay with it. You know I'm not. But we can't just decide for everyone either. No one should have that power. Please, just think for a moment. Is there really another way? A better way to solve these problems? I would take it in a heartbeat, if there really was. So please, prove me wrong. Show me another path. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, everyone, let's finish this together. I'm gonna sneeze real quick. Also, like, why do we have to convince Marcus? We got the army guy on our side. We got... One last debate. It's all on the line. See where we fall. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze again. Even with its flaws, Plato's Republic far better system than alternatives. Clarify. Observe some potential problems. You haven't proven there's a better alternative. Feels like that's shifting in the goalpost a bit. Goalposts were always there. You just ignored them. Back that up, baby. Without wisdom, an essential value, our older systems fall to fools. A monarchy can be inherited by spoiled prince. A democracy can be hijacked by a charismatic tyrant. Even Marx's beloved proletarians can be led astray by flights of fancy and undermine their own interests. From Plato's Republic, wisdom comes first. Even if dictators emerge, they are dictators driven by reason. To me, at least, that sounds far preferable. Even with its flaws, Plato's Republic is a better system than the alternatives. Powerful people invariably have outsized effect on the shape of society. What do you mean by that? The greater you are standing in society, the greater an impact you have on everyone around you. Okay, we'll back that up. If your neighbor decides the Grand Canyon is an eyesore, he just won't go. But if the president decides the Grand Canyon is an eyesore, well, they have the resource to do something far more drastic. Nuke it, paint it with maroon, fill it with concrete. Yes, well, fill the Grand Canyon has been one of their... Luckily, fill the Grand Canyon hasn't been one of their directives. Yet. I'm sorry, are you trying to convince me to switch sides again? The point is, the opinions of the president have far more impact than the opinions of your neighbor. Because their power and influence, their capacity to harm is immense. But that's why we have checks and balances. Joe Biden could be like, you know what, Jack? Just fill the damn Grand Canyon with concrete, and all of Congress will be like, no. Given this influence, political power should only be given to those who train to use it for the good of all. Clarify. At least this is a valid question. First and foremost, attention must be paid to the nature of justice. How do you resolve society's conflict in a way that's ethical, and compassionate, and effective? Seems right, justice is the first virtue of social institutions, after all. And a leader with such a focus would surely become a model for all who serve him. As these two have reminded us, philosophers have spent eons reflecting on and debating the nature of justice. Exactly why they're more qualified than any other to lead. Both of these clarifying thoughts seem important. Why don't we examine them further? Statement update with clarifying statements. Potential leaders must thus be trained with laser focus to clearly think about justice. Leader must be trained to be just, or they shouldn't be a leader. Backing. Most matters of relationship boils down to the question of justice. Who deserves to be rewarded? Who deserves to be punished? How do you make sure that everyone gets a fair shake? These are often deceptively difficult questions, so a true leader needs not be deceived into simple answers. They must learn to give these questions the weight they deserve and constantly refine their views. I feel like you can challenge that, eh? Huh. Let's read the rest. Philosophers will always be a better choice than the general public. Philosophers are inherently more qualified in leadership because they already spent years reflecting on what matters. Fuchsia says you can trust the man to do the job because they've already been doing it. Okay, can you back that up? I'm just saying, my daughter and I both outdebated a ton of these geezers. You hardly outdebated them, you engaged with them. Each philosopher came to the table with years of reflection and wisdom, only to be first learning from your logic you could observe potential flaws. And you could deny them, you can deny that in the process you yourself grew as an individual. I deny everything, I learned nothing. Oh wow, that was very convincing. I really believe he learned nothing. Ari's your dad is an airhead. Demand more accountability from the head of accountable accounting. Even with all you've learned, the philosophers still outclass you. You've spent years thinking about these concepts, or they've spent years. And if they're not using that wisdom to guide us, then it's going to waste. Is that so? Concept, wisdom, clarification. State variance, this Pythia, philosopher intelligent people to have reason, blah blah blah. Backing. The fact that the philosophers dedicate their lives to concept is self-evident. It's for the ideas of wisdom that can change for the better. Well, if we didn't believe we had anything to gain from them, none of them would be here now. If we're not having philosophers rule, there's no way for their wisdom to help us. I feel like alienation hits here too. What do you mean by this? The best place for philosophers is to be in charge. This is the only way to create a society that shares their sense of justice and reason. The only way, huh? Okay, we'll back that up. This stands true to everything I said. Masses flail around, careening from one decision to another. The leader's philosopher would be best positioned to provide direction. Isn't this the very reason why you wanted to lead, to spread their wisdom? Well, there's no better way to spread their wisdom than putting them in charge. If we're not having the philosophers rule, there's no other way for their wisdom to help us. We can no longer afford to be governed by unqualified leaders. We have to act. Oh, man.
Nonsense.
Yeah, consent to the people. Marcus, you say we have to act, but going to unilaterally like this inherently lacks the consent of the governed. And as we discussed earlier, no system can sustain itself without it. These systems can't sustain itself as it is currently. Can't possibly have missed that I'm not the only one talking of revolution. Misinformation flying everywhere makes it unlikely that anyone can unite the people. But I have to believe that once this system is in place and things start getting better, people will come to support my choices today. Only time will tell. Philosopher have dedicated their lives. Ah, fuck. That was a bad one. I feel like I can challenge this. Yeah, oligarchy of the rich. But won't the rich still try to use their wealth to subvert the system? You are repeating dangers you raised before, dangers I acknowledge, but perfect cannot be the enemy of good. The Republic is still our best option. But Ariadne, previous complications will not work, and believes our current system has even greater issues. Find a new angle of attack, strike at the core assumption, then only then can a different approach be found. Different approach. Previously used idea removed from the idea slate. I think Superior Man might come in, but I don't know how though. Maybe alienation. Ah, me. How are we going to act? I don't know. We have to do something. They can still win. Regis back, I know. And then we can't afford to wait any longer. Decisive action is needed. You can be scared to rock a boat. May find stay in the course. Iceberg. Already there, taking on water. Something has changed. There's no avoiding it. Ah, man. Maybe... Ah, me, man. I gotta be able to challenge something here. Let me consult. Come on, come on, come on. We've got to find something. Giving it all I've got, Ari. Brother's not a Saturday morning villain. He is a man who has lost hope. Find new angle attack. Strike at his core. We can still reach him. Right. Back to the top. Once again, we don't have to reach him. We have the army on our side. Even with this flawless play, we're probably far better than the alternatives. Ah, me, man. Ah, me, man. Hey, Monger's reaction is Man, I don't know what to do, man. Could just say he stinks. Maybe... No, I've got nothing, man. Oh, man, I'm fucking losing it here. Establish the key quality. Oh. I feel like I already tried the value of education. If I remember, I don't remember, man. tried the superior man here too. I don't know, man. I don't know. Marcus, you say we have to act, but going on unilaterally. Discussed earlier, no system can sustain itself without it. System can't be sustained. Separation flying everywhere makes it unlikely anyone can unite the people. I have to believe. Only time will tell. Wait, why didn't that get you? No. Oh my god. I don't know why I opened that. Like, how am I going to use these? How does Superior Man help anything here? How does Apathy help anything here? What are these lineups I've got? I hope it's not I feel like it might be a guaranteed loss thing because I'm trying to argue here. Nope. Got like one life. Maybe alienation? Nope. I think I just lost. Philosopher's world, there's no other way wisdom to help us? I don't... I mean, I'll just try alienation here, I guess. Governmental limitations? I don't know. Try here.
Nonsense.
I feel like I already grabbed this. Didn't I just grab this one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Let's try alienation. Well, I lost. Unlucky. Fuck. Listen to him. He's got going through. Have to do something. It must be a guaranteed loss. Damn it. Really? Is that it? Hold on. What if I continue? Okay, was that really the end? It's just game. I did. Huh? Okay. Let's do to argument 5. I will defeat this individual. Slots plays the Republic far better than the Alta. La, 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 la. Go, 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 go. Yeah. Okay, shut up, shut up. Okay, okay. Flaws, Pato's Republic. Okay, so I know. Flaws. Oh, f me, man. I should only give him those trying to use for good of all. Okay, let me just get through all the... Just click through all the connections here. Oops. Okay, these nerds fucking agreeing with him. Always be better choice than general public. No, what? How's that? I'm upset. Nope, not that either, huh? Guess we'll just back that up. Okay.
Nonsense!
Just get through this dialogue again. Mark, say we have to act when you realize it's government concern. Self.
Nonsense!
Oligarchy of the rich. Well, the rich still try to use their wealth to subvert this. Okay, this is. It's going to get rid of the different approach. I don't know, man. Far better system than the alternatives. Nope. Can I save or something? No. Oh. Well, actually. Or does that take me to 5? I did not mean to make me. God. Whoops. Eh. So I'm just blasting through. I will defeat this in this episode, otherwise I am a fool. Once again, why do we have to convince Marcus of anything? Okay.
Nonsense!
Wonder if I get this before I get the other clarifying. Okay. There's Republic. Lose much trade to make folks think clearly about justice, but like, no, that's not it. God damn it, man, I don't know. Superior can help us know how to perform any role. Okay, that was a bit of a shot in the dark. I don't know why Superior Man is sitting here, like, it doesn't do anything, I don't know. Philosopher's rules, no way the wisdom to help us. Okay, what if I do, like, maybe value of education? Okay.
Nonsense!
Yay, triple nonsense. Yay! Man, why didn't I think of that before? What was that, some sort of Jones family hive mind? I think we all just thought of the same objection at the same time. Because in the end, the problem with having everything you want to do is obvious. I've heard such grandstanding before, Ariadne. I'll take something with more substance to change my mind. Well, I hope you're hungry because we prepared you a 4-course logic buffet. Philosophers must be raised above people because they're a unique capacity for reason. Would you say that an accurate summary of your argument, Marcus? Yes, I would. And this is ultimately why democracy is doomed. The public's lack of reason leads to short-sighted decisions. I've been incredibly clear about that. Well, then there's a third position you're holding, a sinister assumption key to justifying your plan. You're not just saying people are unreasonable, you're assuming they are incapable of reason. What? Here's how it shakes out, Marcus. Your love of philosophy is valid, your critique of democracy even is valid. But somewhere along the way, you stop thinking about critical thinking skills as people learn. And instead, just the one they have. You use loaded language of class and rank, inventing a clean line where there is none. And once we draw out this fact, your whole pitch is revealed for the sham it is.
Nonsense.
Look at the choice the public makes. Look at the people they vote for. You can't possibly argue they...
Nonsense.
Never having learned is not the same as being incapable of learning. 3 years ago, I was a bumbling idiot. I didn't see the point in politics or philosophy. Now I'm much wiser, still bumbling, but wiser. And even if Socrates is capable of growth, then who else might be? How many others would become better if we just gave them the right tools?
Nonsense.
Socrates had no choice. He was dead, but nothing to do but learn. People aren't interested in learning to be better, they just want to feel better.
Nonsense!
Oh yeah? Then that situation was perfectly designed to create pressure for dad to grow. In reality, there are countless reasons someone might not want to learn. Some are rewarded for holding the line. Others just find life easier to manage with their heads in the sand. But this feels like a situation that's as much created by the problem as it is the cause of it. If those around you don't want to learn and grow, you're more likely to be baited and manipulated and come to an accord. But if you could teach more and more people to think critically, the cycle would break down. Being reasonable becomes a more reasonable option. So what, you try to teach everyone? Yes, I would. And yes, it's incredibly difficult, Marcus. Every person is different and requires a different approach. But you know who would be well equipped to handle it? Those already skilled in reasoning? Fannin said everything can be explained to the people, and the single condition is that they really want them to understand. Impossible! Imagine, Marcus, a world in which critical thinking is both valued and widely taught. A world in which people not only know how to dissect the thoughts of others, but also their own. Attempts to manipulate or subjugate would be overwhelmingly recognized. Politicians who traded in bluster and bigotry would find themselves no longer welcome. Reasonability would flow from the people and no longer easily swayed into all the leaders of democracy. In that world, we'd all be philosopher queens. Very well. Very well. What else can I say? You're right. The first priority of the wisest should not be the rule, it should be to teach, so we can all become wise. And we don't know, and know what we don't know. Indeed. I was too hasty, it seems. Too certain in my course. But, brother... I'm sorry, Regis. I'm sorry for everything. Pause champ. Slew the coup. Complete the final chapter. Pull Philosopher 2. Whew. Fuck. Fuck yeah. Ariadne. I'm sorry, Mom, but come on. We did it. We talked down a frickin' military coup. We're goddamn honest to goodness heroes. It was indeed an impressive demonstration of power of debate. Applied at the right time among those willing to listen, it's possible to change the course of history. Yeah, I mean, it's become difficult to find many willing to listen in politics, but I guess that was just what we agreed. I guess that's what we just argued. It's easier for people to hold terrible positions when they're not held accountable for those positions mean. Lines have to be drawn, of course. Reasonable does not mean in the middle. There will always be people arguing for heinous things, and between justice and hate there can be no compromise. But I do think if critical thinking was more widely taught, you'd see fewer people getting swept up by the fear. I hope so anyway. But how will we do it? Excuse me? What you're describing sounds great. I really love it. But change doesn't happen just because you wish it. So how does it happen? Oh, One more big question to close out the day. It's the final challenge to every important philosophy. How does your ideal theory meet the non-ideal world? Well, with the portal open, the Philosopher's Scientist will have more clout to convince people to focus on reform. Won't be easy, but we can do it. We need to play politics a little longer, but in doing so we can change what playing politics means. If you win... If I win, that's the catch, isn't it? Marcus and I fell into our plan in the first place. No matter how good our intentions, our power to change things within the system is limited. Even if you win, you'll be bound by the need to continue winning. You can stop there then. Can't stop there then. Pithra can try to reform within, there's value in that, but the real work is to be done among the people. Local towns, counties, and schools. Local politics, baby. By organizing on the ground level, by teaching people where they are, we build a better future, create the needed pressure for change. It'll be a longer, harder path, but it'll be more stable. And we can never settle down when the world could be better. He finally gets it. Fannin, you could have just said that at last. Perhaps that is indeed what was going to do more good in the long run. I think that's the last piece I needed. Thanks, Marcus. Thank you. I've been so focused on the power of my office, I guess I lost sight of the power outside of it. Hell, if I lose, maybe I'll come work for you. And the efforts to reform come up short, well, there's still other methods of instilling change. Marcus! Not a military coup. You've proven the folly of letting a few determine the future of all. We should empower the masses, not dictate them. Give them the tools to decide for themselves whether the time has come for revolution. I can accept that. Yes, finally! I hope it won't be necessary. With enough work, democracy should be able to overcome any special interests. Well, if either Marcus or Pithra are successful, we'll have a society that can better imagine the original position and fight for those who they've never met. Perhaps the mandate is already irrevocably passed. I've just discovered social media and... Who gave Confucius a phone? We can't have them despairing before we even begin. Sorry. Oh god, no. Get him off there. Don't let him go on X. Philosophers come along. We can debate this back in the intelligible realm. After all, any conclusion we reach, we can share with all and perhaps do some good. Pitha, Marcus, we'll have to discuss my compensation later. What could you possibly need money for, Nozick? You're dead. Ugh, I swear. Well, I suppose this is it then. I need to return to HQ, try to explain what I was doing here today. Regis, if what we were planning gets out, if someone needs to take the blame, it'll be me. But I was the one who... It'll be me, Em. Oh, don't look so down, brother. In the end, we stopped before the point of no return. Maybe that'll count for something. That seems unlikely. Won't be the strangest thing to happen today. Men, it's time to move out. Marcus, if my stubborn brother's determined to sacrifice it all again, I need to make the most of it. The National Education Initiative isn't going to build itself. You'll have my help. Copper 2.0, let's go. With Jen at your side, coming up with catchy cheers, you can't fail. The benefit of a good cheer should never be underestimated. Pythia, Ariadne, consider this our resignation. May our paths cross again in a better future. See you later, Ari. Oh, and just so you know, you were amazing today. Oh, thanks. She's right, you know. You not only saved your mother, you saved everyone. I had nothing to worry about. I'm proud of you, kid. I have to be honest. I don't know if any of this will actually help. The world is so complex, we've learned and discussed a lot, but we're missing so much more. You're probably right, Pumpkin. Political philosophy is inherently more complex than moral philosophy. Determining what's best for yourself is already hard. Determining for a group, overwhelmingly so. Every choice is a trade-off, and those trade-offs affect millions of lives. In the end, we can only try to choose as wisely and kindly as possible and hold each other accountable for when we fall short. Yeah, I guess that's true. Hey, Mom, Dad, can we get something to eat? I just realized I'm kind of starving. Me too. Turns out imaginary food wears off quickly. I know, let's get bagels. Bagels sound great. Absolutely not. Empty carbs. What about mini bagels? The size of the bagel does not change the carb ratio, Socrates. See, Pythia, this is how Piegeddon started. Larry Pingus was right. You're a food tyrant. Hold on, your school bullet opponent was named Pingus? I guess so. I honestly forgotten. Your opponent was named... and you still lost? That is crazy. That is crazy. I hate politics. Nice. Good ending. Pro Philosopher 2, Government and Grievances. Nice. A game by Connor Phelan, Val Rosinski, Anonymous Artist, and Andy Norman. Well, shout out the Anonymous Artists. They're great. Thanks to the efforts of Capra and my family, we have an opportunity like never before. So allow me to introduce you all to some long, long lost friends. Connor Phelan, Philosophy Guru, Andy Norman. She's doing well up there, almost relaxed. That makes one of us. Is my skull mask too scary? Who are we? Sorry, there's a whole like timeline bit. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I guess maybe that was like a lineup to this. Ultimately, in both action and inaction, I bear responsibility for that day. I do not expect your judgment to be merciful. You must do what seems just to you. There's a whole timeline thing. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I don't know if that was supposed to be Marcus and what's-his-face. As the world reels from the discovery of the intelligible realm, one question lingers. Will these long-dead philosophers help sharpen our brains or eat them? Sonia Kwan, Val Rosinski, Dana Shaw, Novera King, Morgan Lockhart, Tom Abernathy. I'd just like to thank you, your teacher, for having us here today. I brought a few friends with me too. We're going to learn the brilliance of democracy, or die trying. Is this like the credits to like thank the teacher for a classroom? Because if so, I'm the teacher and you're all in the classroom. Matthew Klingsmith. Oh my gosh, it's finally happening. I'm so excited. What's happening? Can't believe it. I agreed to do this. No more hesitation, Ariana Jones. We must dance. Oh, they're dancing. Oh, they're dancing. Morgan Evans. I was about to start my own cryptocurrency, Nuzbucks. It crashed and peaked 4 times since yesterday. Very exciting. I've never hated anything more. Karl Marx would lose his shit if he learned about cryptocurrency. Nonsense Voices, Katie, Ariana Jones, Katie Kernosis, Paris Smith, Annie Vandermeer, Arbiter, Duncan Bowl, Socrates Jones, Connor Phelan, Confucius, Michael Yichao, Machiavelli, also Michael Yichao, I think I'm butchering his name, John Locke was someone else. Time has come to reclaim my legacy. I will seize Fortuna once more. I'll reveal in the release of my new masterpiece, The Prince 2, Prince Redemption. Working title. Playtesting Armada, Gary Phelan, Sanjay Kwan, Jules Waver, Caspian Preeb, Victoria Flume, Wame Bob, Katie Chernosis, Eric Butler, Kristen Hsu, Ben Walker, John Gill, Gina Smith, Michael. Well, come on, Mom, everyone's waiting. I know. I just need a moment to. And that's another 1,000 for Smith and 900 for Tucker. It's so close. I know. Whatever comes next, we're in it together. Right. Whatever comes next. Still no Nietzsche. Complete Pro Philosopher. Wow, nice. We're standing on the fin screen a little longer. Okay. Well, that was it for Pro Philosopher 2 Government and Grievances. Fun game. I had a very fun. I was a bit stumped at the last bit there, if you couldn't tell. But that is the end of the video. If you made this far in the video, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I am not your mother. But you better brush your teeth. Have a good one. Bye-bye.